Hello, hello, everyone. This is Alan Newell, and I want to welcome you back for our Wednesday night training. We do this each week and bring some amazing information and for you to help not only build your direct sales business, become a better leader, but to work on yourself personally. Personal growth is what this industry is all about. And so tonight, I'm excited that I've got an amazing speaker on here tonight who's going to focus this. Some of my notes said, hey, listen, tune into this, and this can be a life-changing event. We've invited a lot of people, even those people that, hey, you may not even be in the network marketing business, but I can tell you whatever business you're in, whatever you're working with in life, Bob focuses on the direct sales business. But his message is so much more than that. He's an author. He runs a blog post. He's got a clubhouse group. He has a self-improvement program. He's got a network marketing business program. He's got, you name it, he's got it. And he I first connected with him listening to his podcast and his philosophy on building a business. He's an average guy who came in the business and just decided that, hey, I want to be successful, but and he can tell you his story. But after struggling for several years, he realized that there was a missing link in our industry, and that missing link was the belief that people had in themselves, and putting that together in a system to help you build your network marketing business. And when I heard him first on his podcast, he really resonated with me because, listen, I'm a guy who's 60 years old. I've been in this industry for 18 years. I've got a team that's in over 60 countries. And I told this story to Bob. I said, there's people that struggle. And there's people I want to help. And a lot of times that I was unable to do that. And I reached some peaks and valleys in my business. And the information that Bob brings to you helps you get beyond that, helps you recognize and look inside yourself and realize what may be holding you back, what can help. In his program, Legacy Leadership Academy, and his teaching tonight is going to be on Love, Serve, Grow. I don't want to take too much away from it, but Bob, I just really appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to come on board with us tonight and share your training, because I know you're going to change some lives tonight, and I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me, brother, and hopefully people have something left in the tank after your 7-hour marathon that you guys did yesterday. So we'll see if hopefully I can hold their attention for a half hour or so, but
I'm sure you can. I'm going to turn it over to you, my friend, and I appreciate you.
All right, cool. Well, I appreciate the introduction, man. And so as Alan shared with you, my name is Bob Heilig. And for those of you that haven't had a chance to consume any of my training, all the content that I create online is actually under the name Your Virtual Upline. So I have a podcast that we've been doing for about 5 years now. That's probably the thing that from a free content standpoint, that's where I always direct people to. It's called the Your Virtual Upline Podcast. I don't know if we have any listeners watching here tonight, but if so, welcome and thanks for the support. And but in our company, what we really focus on is we focus on leadership development and leadership training for network marketing professionals. And about 3 years ago, I created something that today we call the Love, Serve, Grow movement. Love, Serve, Grow is a radically different, and I truly believe it is the new way to build a network marketing business in the world that we live in today. Look, I don't think there's any one of us that can deny the fact that the world we live in is changing. It's changing at a very rapid rate. And I truly believe that it's up to our profession to change with it. And I think that a lot of the things that have been taught in this profession that may have worked, years ago, are not necessarily serving people anymore today. So I'm really passionate, and I have this sense of mission to truly uplift this profession and change the lives of the people that are in it, and by teaching this new philosophy that we have called Love, Serve, Grow. And I'm going to share with you what it is tonight. But the focus tonight is really going to be on the first part of this framework, which is really all about belief. And I'm going to make the argument as to how belief is really the number one issue you have in your life. Almost every problem that you have in your business and in your life can be directly traced back to a lack of belief. So I'm going to talk a little bit about How do we build belief? Because everybody talks about belief in network marketing. I remember the first day I signed into my business, my sponsor said, you got to have belief, right? And I was like, okay, that sounds great, but how does somebody believe that they can be successful as an entrepreneur and a leader if I've never done anything like this before? If all I've ever done is failed, in my whole first year in this profession, I didn't recruit a single person. So I always struggled with this idea, like, how do you just snap your fingers and all of a sudden you just believe, like, I'm going to change the world and I'm going to become super wealthy and I'm going to, be this amazing leader. Like, how do you do that? I never understood. And I think the reality of it is this, is we all know we should believe, but most of us don't have belief because we don't know how to get it. We don't think it's possible for us. So I'm going to make the argument tonight that not only is it possible for you, but Love, Serve, Grow is literally the plan that will help get you there. So let's talk a little bit about how Love, Serve, Grow is different. So the first part of the framework is we teach people how to put love at the center of their business and in their life. And I hold the belief that there is nothing that will transform your life or your business faster than love. Now, what is love? To me, the way we teach it, love is having belief in yourself. Love comes from strong belief. Now, what is belief really? All belief is it is a story that you are telling yourself. In every moment of your life, in every area of your life, you are telling yourself a story. And that story is either positive or negative. And that story is either holding you back and limiting you from the things that you want, or you're telling yourself a story that's actually giving you the confidence you need to go out there and start taking action to create the results that you want. Here's what most people don't realize, is that our beliefs are not true. Our beliefs are just interpretations. And like any interpretation, there's always two different ways to look at something. So what we teach our students, the very first thing we do is we help them in the area of belief, and we help them understand that most people are struggling in their business because they have limiting beliefs. And the number one area that people lack belief is belief in themselves. See, I want to ask you this question today. How many of you out there, and I'd love to have you drop a comment if this is you, how many of you have been successful on some level getting customers, but have struggled when it comes to recruiting and building a team? How many of you have done a good job getting customers, but you've struggled building a team? Just drop a yes in the comments and let me know if that's you. I ask this question all the time. The vast majority of the people that we teach can attest to that being the case in their business. The number one challenge that people face when they come into our programs is, Bob, I just can't find the right people. I can't build my team. Well, I'm going to explain to you why that's happening right now if that's you. You've been successful getting customers because you believe in your products. And that belief in your product is really, it's just when you're sharing your product with someone, you're telling yourself a story that you know this product can change this person's life. So you have strong belief, and that causes you to be confident. That makes you inspired and excited to share. And that's what comes across, and that's why people buy from you. But here's the problem. That's not the case when you're sharing your business, is it? See, the reason why you're successful getting customers and not your business is because when you're sharing your business, what are you really offering people? You're offering them yourself. And if you're honest with yourself, you do not believe in yourself and your ability to help them become successful. Because what you've done is you've recruited people in the past that have failed, and you've chosen to attach yourself to their failures. You have made other people's failure mean that you failed. And over time, you've created this big story. We call it a red light story that is literally killing your confidence when it comes to leading your team and sharing your business. See, you're not building a team because you don't believe in yourself. Some of you are frozen with fear and you're not able to take action because of that. But here's the life-changing realization. Some of you are still doing it. See, here's another question for you. How many of you are out there trying to recruit every day, sharing your business, going through, doing everything that Alan's been teaching you? How many of you are still doing the do, but it's not creating results? How many people are doing everything they've been taught, working hard. Some of you have been doing this for years, still no results. Well, you want to know why? There's only one possible answer to why that could be. Like, how could you use literally the same script, the same third-party tool, do and say all the same things, and it works for someone, but it doesn't work for you? Well, here's the reason why. Because your actions don't create your results. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, 90% of the training out there today is failing you because all people are doing is teaching you the actions and the steps of how to be successful. And what I am here to tell you is you could work as hard as you want. You could work as long as you want. You could do every right thing. But if you don't have the right belief behind the actions, if the energy and the intentions are not there, you're never going to get the results that you want. So belief is the source of everything in our life. What we teach people how to do in Love, Serve, Grow is we teach people how to change their story. See, because when you learn that your beliefs are just a story, there's something that you decided. See, at some point in your life, something happened to you, and you made that mean that you weren't good enough, that you aren't worthy. And maybe what you had to do to become worthy was I had to go out and achieve, right? I had to get good grades. I had to succeed because when I was succeeding, I felt worthy. I felt better about myself. And that story of scarcity and fear, you've literally carried with you your entire life. And that's the reason why you struggle with failure. People say, Bob, I'm afraid of failure. I go, that's not true. You're not afraid of failing. You're afraid of what failing means. See, you make failure mean that you are a failure. You are attaching your sense of self-worth to the yeses and the nos of your business. You are attaching your sense of self-worth to the amount of followers that you have on social media, to the amount of likes that you got on your Instagram reel, to the size of your downline. What I am trying to get you to understand is this. You are not worthy because of what you do. There's no amount of money or success in the world that will ever make you any more worthy than you are today. All this is a big lie. It's a story of scarcity and fear, and it's what's keeping you stuck. And that's the thing. If you're struggling right now to create the results that you want, it's because you don't have love at the center of your life. You have fear. See, in every moment of our life, we're operating from one of those two things. There's literally no other source of anything in our life, love or fear. Now, what is fear? Fear is an illusion. It's a lie. It's a story. It's the absence of love. But when we're leading our life with fear, here's what happens. Scarcity becomes the default setting for our life. We're never good enough. There's never enough time. There's never enough money. There's never enough opportunity. When you're leading with fear, you will always compare yourself to other people. You will always judge who you are. Look, let me ask you a question. How much time do you spend wishing that you were someone else? You ever think about that? Like, how much time do you spend wishing that you were someone else? See, this is what fear does to us. This is what limiting beliefs do to us, right? And when we're playing from that space, we're always playing victim, and we will always blame others for our lack of success. Well, you don't get it, Bob. It's my spouse. They're not supportive. It's my family and friends. They are not supportive. They don't have money. I just don't have a big enough following on social media, Bob. You know, it's tapped out in my area. It's just, there's too many people, right? We always have an excuse when here's the reality. It's never anything outside of it. It's always you. Because what's interesting is the same excuse that you're giving me why you're not successful, I will literally introduce you to 100 other people that have dealt with that same circumstance, but somehow they wound to make it. So what's the difference? They chose a different story around their circumstances. They didn't let their obstacles and challenges hold them back. They moved forward despite them. But the difference was you're operating from fear. They operated from love. And that's what we try to teach people, how to shift, because here's the power of love. When you have love at the center of your business and your life, what you're doing is you are telling yourself a story about yourself that is much different. One where you know you are capable. One where your worth does not come from what you do. It comes from the fact that you exist for who you are. Let me give you a little wake-up call here for some of you. You didn't create yourself. Now, I'm a person of faith, and here's what I know. God created me in his image. And guess what else I know? God doesn't create junk. And here's the other thing that I had to realize once I came to this level of awareness is understanding that I didn't create myself. It's not my job to judge the creation. It's my job to accept it. It's my job to marvel at it. It's my job to know that I already have everything in me that I need. Here's the reality. I spent years of my business going through the motions, working hard, doing all the things with a limiting story. I literally never even gave myself a chance. See, when you understand what I'm talking about and you start paying attention to the way that you talk to yourself in your business, you'll understand why you're not anywhere near where you want to be either. So what I'm inviting all of you to do is learn how to take a journey back to love and discovering who you really are, who you were created to be, because there are potential and there are gifts inside of you that are so far beyond your comprehension and understanding. And the only reason why you don't see them is because you haven't actually been willing to share yourself with the world. And you want to know why? Everybody always says this, and I kind of used to drive me crazy when people say to me, they say, Bob, you just got to be yourself. Like the buzzword is authenticity. You just got to be authentic. Just be yourself. People used to say that to me all the time. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, how do you do that? And what I didn't understand is I struggled being myself and putting myself out there, my authentic self, because deep down inside, I didn't believe it was good enough. And I'm telling you this, if you're leading with fear and you have a story that you're not worthy or good enough, you will never be authentic. You will never be able to be yourself because you don't think yourself is good enough. See, when you learn how to change your story, it gives you the confidence to share who you are with the world, to let your light shine. Listen, only love will let your light shine. The world will not give you permission to do that. So many of you have been trading your authenticity for the approval of other people because you need people to like you and accept you in order to feel better about yourself. See, we have to learn how to break these patterns that have kept us stuck almost our entire life. This is the first step of the Love, Serve, Grow framework. And in our program, we have a program called the Legacy Leadership Academy. The very first thing we do is we teach people how to do this. We have literally created a training we call the Formula for Transformation. It is a step-by-step blueprint that will teach you how to build belief in any area of your life, starting with belief in yourself. Because unless you build that as the foundation, nothing else is going to matter. And we have people that literally come into our programs that have been stuck for years. One of our students, Lisa, was stuck for 7 years at the same rank. Hadn't recruited a single person the entire year prior to joining our program. In 48 hours after she joined, she recruited 2 people in rank advanced. She did something in 48 hours she couldn't do in 7 years. I interviewed her. I said, Lisa, what happened? Like I think we're good, but I don't know that we're that good. Like, what happened? She goes, Bob, here's what's so crazy. She goes, I joined your program because I knew I needed help with systems, right? We're really big on systems. We'll get to that next. But she said, you gave me a gift that I never knew that I needed. You made me realize that for the last 7 years, the reason why I haven't been successful is because I never believed in myself. I never even gave myself a chance. And she said, you gave me the gift of teaching me how to love myself and how to believe in myself. And she says, what's crazy is I didn't even really do or say anything different. I just showed up with a different story and new belief, and it completely transformed my life. That's the first step of the Love, Serve, Grow framework. Now, here's why that's important. The second part of the framework is all about service. See, there's a really big misconception about what we do, and that it's network marketing is a sales business. And I'm here to tell you it is not a sales business. You can make money selling and you can make money teaching other people how to sell. Now, when I say selling, I don't just mean products. I mean your business. If what you're doing is using strategies that are only working for you, but they're not duplicating on your team, you are teaching sales strategies. Most people are not sales types, and they will struggle if you teach them sales-related things. But here's the problem. Fear will always lead you to sell. Fear will always lead you to do things and say things that will create short-term results for you, but they'll never duplicate for other people. The reason why we always sell from fear is because we need to get to feel better about ourselves. We need somebody to say yes in order to feel better about ourselves. We need somebody to be successful on our team to feel like we're worthy as a leader. All you can ever do from fear is sell. And this is a reason why a lot of you have been stuck. See, here's the truth. You'll never build a business that gives you true freedom in your life with a sales mindset. See, the shift is when you move from sales to service. Network marketing is a business of service. If you truly want to build a business that gives you freedom, you've got to adopt a service mindset. Now, what is service? My definition of service is adding value to the lives of others by helping them solve problems. See, here's the reality. Most of you are thinking and acting like a salesperson. That's the reason why you're not seeing the big results. It's also the reason why you struggle in your business, because you don't view yourself that way. So you lack alignment. You're literally going out there every day and having sales conversations. And in the back of your mind, you're like, that's not you. You can't do this. You're creating this internal resistance around success. It doesn't have to be that way. See, service is really the secret. See, you're not a salesperson. You need to become a paid problem solver. See, when you start acting from service, here's what happens. You stop focusing on your own needs and you start focusing on the needs of others. You give before you ask to get. Matter of fact, some of you are like, but Bob, I give, but you're not giving from service. You're giving from fear, because you're only giving with an attachment. You're only giving because you expect to get back something. So you'll go out there and you'll give, but then you'll get discouraged when it doesn't work out the way you think it should, and you'll stop. That's not love. That's fear. See, service gives because it's what it does. Service, when you make a shift to service, you start finding a deeper sense of purpose and meaning behind the work that you do. See, here's the beautiful thing about service. When you stop talking about how great your products are and how great your compensation plan is and how the ingredients are better than what they were using, that's all sales stuff. And guess what? People don't buy products and they don't buy opportunities. They buy solutions to problems. When you stop talking about the features and the benefits and the facts and the figures, and you start speaking to and talking about problems and solutions, watch how differently people respond to you. It is a radically different mindset. And you start teaching this stuff to your team, watch what happens. They won't be afraid to connect with people anymore. They will be inspired to connect because they're truly thinking, all I have to do is go out and share a gift that can help someone solve one of the most pressing problems they have in their life. And they start talking about problems and they start asking questions to find who's struggling. And when you're coming from a place of service, here's what happens that's so important. You extend yourself beyond what you would normally do. See, some of you have literally been trapped in the prison of your own comfort zone. You're afraid to do and try new things, and you're afraid to connect with and share with certain people because you're operating from fear and a sales mindset. You're so afraid of it not going the way that you want because of what you'll make that mean, that you're not good enough. See, when you have love as the foundation and you don't need someone else to say yes to you to feel better about yourself, you don't need someone else's validation to know that you have something special that you can offer the world, you truly can focus on other people. And when you do that, you'll start doing things that you've never done before. You'll start going live. You'll start showing up on Facebook and in social and doing and posting and sharing. You'll start reaching out and connecting and having literally totally different conversations with people. And here's the beauty of service. We start extending ourselves beyond what's normal. And the third part of the framework comes in and we begin to grow. And the growth part of this is critical. See, I'll tell you what your business really is. Your business it starts out as a personal growth program with a compensation plan attached to it. As you grow yourself, you will attract to you the results that you want. Now, it starts out as a personal growth program, but at some point it must shift to something more than that. It becomes a leadership development program. Because as you personally grow, you create results for yourself. But then eventually what you realize is I'm kind of an accidental leader in my business and I don't know how to teach other people how to do it. So now you have to start stepping into the leader role and you have to start growing as a leader. But in the beginning, our capacity to grow determines our ability to lead. But here's the thing. Most of you are not growing because you're stuck in your own fear, and you're afraid to take action, and you're not getting the gift of failure. So the question always becomes, well, Bob, how do I grow? Through failure. Look, if you're feeling stuck right now, how many of you are feeling stuck? Drop me a yes in the comments if you've ever felt stuck in your business. You want to know what stuck is? Stuck is a spiritual warning sign that you've stopped growing in your life. Just like you have biological warning signs, if you don't drink enough water, you feel thirsty. That's your body telling you, we need water, we're dehydrated. If you don't eat enough food, you feel hungry. That's your body's warning sign. Stuck is a spiritual warning sign that you are no longer growing in your life. Look, stuck is a great thing because it tells you you've gotten complacent. See, when you feel stuck, you need to not focus on the results. You got to focus on growth. See, here's the thing I want all of you to do. This is what Love, Serve, Grow teaches us. This is one of the most important shifts you will ever make in your business. Success is not an outcome or a destination. Success is not a certain amount of money. Success is not a goal. Look, if your definition of success is so narrow that it's some arbitrary number that you just pulled out of the air that you either get or you don't, no wonder you're always setting yourself up for failure. Because what if you give it your all and you just fall short? Are you really a failure? See, that's the reason why a lot of you aren't achieving your big goals. Because you're attaching your sense of self-worth to the goal. Look, I'm going to tell you what success is. Success is not an achievement. Success is service and growth. Success is service and growth. You want to know when you're successful? Every day that you show up from a place of love and you focus on serving others and doing for others. And listen, I got news for you, by the way, also. You're not in the business you think you're in. You're not in the healthcare business, the makeup business, the athleisure business. You're not in the business of your products. You are in the transformation business. You are in the changing lives business. See, when you show up from that place and you are serving, you are successful. And when you are serving and you are growing, you are successful. You want to know what our true purpose is in life? Like, I truly believe that every one of our God-given purposes is to love and to serve and to grow. You want to know what's not going to matter when you're gone? The amount of followers you had on social media, the amount of money that you made. You will not be remembered by the people that love you the most, by the car that you drove. You want to know how you will be remembered? If you loved and if you served and if you grew. This is what we're being called to right now. And when I say there is a purpose for you inside your business that is so much bigger than anything you could possibly understand right now, so much bigger than hitting that top rank, so much bigger than paying off your bills, so much bigger than driving that fancy car, living in that nice house. Now, look, I want you to do all those things. Okay, I want you to have them, but I want you to start thinking bigger. I want you to understand that you are being called to something meaningful in your business. Step into that bigger purpose. Embrace love, serve, grow. Weave it into the fabric of your heart and soul and everything you do in your business, and watch what happens. Because as you begin to grow, and you are demonstrating success by serving and growing. And that's the only thing, by the way, that's the only thing you ever have control over anyway. If you really think about it, isn't it ridiculous that we literally attach something so important as our sense of self-worth to whether or not someone says yes or no to us, to whether someone likes a post we have on Instagram or Facebook? We have no control over what other people do. So don't give that to other people. Give it to yourself every single day. And the last thing I'll say is this. You want to know how to speed this process up? You want to know how to grow faster? Because that's the key. You have to learn how to accelerate your growth. We're serving more, we're showing up, but here's the secret to growth. Failure. You want to know what the gift of failure is? Failure is how we grow. Listen, you learn very little through success. Most of you, when you succeed and hit a goal, you don't even allow yourself to appreciate it. You're already moving on to what's that next goal. We don't grow and learn through success. It's only failure. The yeses may build your business, but the nos build you. Now, some of you might say, people always say, well, Bob, I'm failing all the time, man. Like, I got the failure thing down, but I ain't growing. And you want to know why you ain't growing? Because you're failing from fear and not love. See, that's the rub. If you fail from fear, you're never going to grow because you'll never learn the lesson that failure has to offer you. You'll always make it mean something less about you. You'll never allow yourself to get to that place. See, you have to fail from love. When you fail from love, you stop looking at failure as you failed, and you start looking at failure as an opportunity to grow and get better. You start embracing failure. And the beautiful part about this thing that we call love, serve, grow is it is a beautiful cycle, right? Every single act of service, no matter how small, affirms our sense of self-worth. We feel so much better about ourselves when we know we're genuinely doing for others. And as we serve, we grow. And the more we grow, the greater capacity we have to love. And then we serve at a new level. And then we grow faster. And here's the beautiful part about this, guys. It is a journey that never ends. You'll finally start realizing that your network marketing business is nothing more than a vehicle for love, serve, grow. And you want to know my mission? My purpose, the calling for the work that we do in all our programs where we teach love, serve, grow, I literally want to change the world through the power of love, serve, grow. Because I believe that the world is hurting today. And I know that there are not enough people that are out there helping. And I issue a challenge to every single one of you to step into that leader role in your business, even if you don't have the results. Look, if you don't have the results, it has nothing to do with your ability to get them in the future. Your lack of results today is evidence of your lack of belief of yesterday. Your lack of belief in yourself yesterday is what created your results of today. You want to know the proof of your results of tomorrow? The story that you tell yourself today. You change your story. You choose love over fear. You change your life. And what I'm inviting you to do is you've got a decision to make tonight. You're either going to continue to let your story define you, or you're going to define your story. See, I'm inviting you to become the author of your own life because most of you have lived your entire life as a character in someone else's story. Thinking you didn't have control, that life was happening to you, that you were a victim. And I'm telling you, it's never been that way. That's just what you've believed. See, I'm inviting you to turn the page to a new chapter in the story of your life and finally pick up the pen and start writing the story that you want your life to be. To get out there from a totally different place, taking action from the place of belief and getting genuinely excited and inspired about a new vision for your future. See, because when we put love, when we show our self-love and we put love at the center of our business and life, it ignites a new vision of what's possible for us. And that's more than anything, that's what I hope I gave some of you today is just the realization. And I'll leave it with this, and then we'll do some questions, Alan, if you want. Your inability to create the results that you want has had nothing to do with a lack of ability. It's always been a lack of belief. What you need is inside of you. Look, I am speaking to you, someone today, as a person that spent most of my life, my biggest fear was public speaking. I avoided it my entire life. When I joined my first network marketing company, I avoided it for the first year. I hated prospecting. I hated presenting because I had to talk to people, and I was living in a story that I didn't have anything important to say. Right? That people didn't care what I had to say. I developed this story that I'm just introverted and shy, and that served me real well because it made me not have to face my fear. It wasn't until I recognized the story for what it was a lie, and I began to share myself with the world. Here's what I figured out. The thing that was my biggest fear my entire life actually led me to discovering my greatest gift. And I am telling you the same is true for you. Follow your fears. Recognize them for what they are. They're an illusion, but they're also a sign. If you're fearing being a leader, I argue you've been called to be a leader. If you don't think your story matters and you're afraid of sharing it, I'm telling you, the world will be less unless you share your story. You got to start believing that today. And when you do, everything begins to change. So that's the thing that we call love, serve, grow. I'll share this really quickly. This is you can consider this my big sales pitch for all of you. If any of you got any value out of what I just shared with you, and if you're thinking that this thing called love, serve, grow may be the exact thing that you're looking for, I'm going to share with you really quickly the link to our program, the Legacy Leadership Academy. It is the only place where you will learn love, serve, grow. All you have to do is this is a special link here. So I'm sure, Alan, if you could share this, that'd be awesome, man. All you need to do is go to legacyleadershipacademy.com/clubhouse. So legacyleadershipacademy.com/clubhouse. Thanks, brother. Appreciate that. And you'll see all the details of the program on that page. And we actually do have a special offer set up where you can get a 14-day free trial of the program. So that's my sales pitch. So, Alan, I'll kick it back over to you, brother.
Absolutely. And hey, listen, thank you so much, Bob. And you know, for those of you who we talked earlier briefly on the front end of this, we had some people join us, and Bob's going to answer some questions for you. And then we've got a couple of different channels going on here. We're running on 3 different channels. We're running on the YouTube channel, running on the Facebook team page, and then on my personal page. And so he does, if you're part of Clubhouse, Bob does a daily Clubhouse group at 9 a.m. That is powerful. Some amazing information where he brings people in and talks about different subjects and talks about and answers questions, opens it up for questions. And it's just amazing. I will say it's addicting because it's so inspiring and so encouraging. And then he's got, of course, his podcast. And his podcast is something that I was on the road today for about 5 hours, and I went through quite a few of them. A couple of them I had to listen to twice because I went, wait a minute, I need to pick up on that again. I need to hear it again. And so if you've got a question, type it in the comments down here, and we'll have Bob answer a couple of questions before we let him slip away, if that's okay with you, Bob.
Yeah, absolutely.
All righty. So if anybody's got any questions, please feel free to type them in there. We've got lots of good stuff going on here. Fabulous, Bob, from Denise Longton, Lisa Peterson, awesome, Rena Batt out in Washington State. So lots of good stuff. But if you have a question for Bob, whatever it might be concerning what we talked about today, type it in the notes and we will ask him that for you and he can answer it. So don't be shy. There's AJ, inspiring.
Thank you, AJ. Appreciate that, man.
Yep.
And so just while we're waiting, Alan, so the podcast is called the Your Virtual Upline Podcast. So if you listen to podcasts, definitely check that out. And you can, if you're not a podcast listener normally, you can listen to it actually on my website, which is yourvirtualupline.com. And all my social channels are just under Your Virtual Upline, so you can search and find me anywhere.
You know what's inspiring about it is, and what I find so interesting about about what you do is that when people come on and ask questions, they're from all different genres, all different types of network marketing business. Some of them are doing, it's just, anything you can think of. Now, they don't talk about their business because, as Bob mentioned, it's not about the product you're selling. It's not about the business. It's about you and developing in your personal development. And so, it's so good to hear, because what really inspired me is, when you look at it, the people, the industry as a whole, people have the same issues, whether they're selling nails or makeup or green, whatever they're selling, whatever their product is, whatever their company is, you see that a lot of them have the very same issues. And it goes back to what Bob said, which is belief in yourself first, loving yourself first, and then being able to share that out there with everybody. So, you know what? I mean, you must have done, when you do such a great job.
I literally did such a good job. There's no questions.
got no question.
First time for everything, man.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm looking on both the channels here. In the YouTube channel, I don't see anything on there. And I do see one YouTube channel question from Scott. And Scott asked, I've been absent in my business for the last 14 months, just buying products, but I'm ready to get started. How do I get started again? Let me read that again. How do I get started seeing as I've not done anything for 18 months?
Yeah. So Scott, great question. The answer is you just start. So Scott, here's what you're doing. So we call this a red light story. So Scott, you're creating a red light story, which is basically a limiting belief that probably sounds something like, I haven't been around for 14 months. What are people going to think if I just start showing up? Now, Scott, here's the reality. Most people will probably think nothing, because you want to know the truth of it. And this is not a knock on you, man. I'll say this to myself and anybody else. Most people probably don't even know you haven't been around for 14 months, because that's what, they ain't paying much attention to you, because they're focused on themselves. See, what we do is we let our past limit us in the present because we focus on the past. Listen, Scott, what's done is done, man. You can't change the past, so you might as well let it go. See, if you're leading with fear and you have a sales mindset, you are going to always overthink every single thing you do. If you're truly operating from a service mindset, Scott, here's the question. When's the right time to start sharing solutions to people that could change their life? Right now, anytime. So what, Scott, we have to recognize is what you're doing is you're creating a story in your mind that simply isn't true. You have no way of knowing what other people are going to do or say unless you actually do it. And hey, guess what? By the way, you want to know what fear is anyway? All fear is you imagining a negative outcome for an action you haven't even taken yet. Faith is imagining a positive outcome. Either way, you're going to create a story in your mind. That story is either going to cause you to freeze with fear, or it's going to give you the confidence to go out there and take courageous action. But Scott, the battle is won in your mind. So just show up, let the past go, and focus on creating the future that you want.
Awesome.
Lisa said she's busy signing up for LLA. That's why she can't answer the question. I love
she
that.
Might have a question about, okay, how do I sign up? And here's a text message I got from Dave. Dave said, I built a business for 5 years. My wife and I went through a divorce. We had built the business together, and now she's gone into real estate, but I would like to get started again with a new company. What does that say? What is the mindset going to be building by myself? Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's all about, Scott just needs belief in himself. He did it with his wife, and now he's questioning, can I do this on my own? So Scott, what you have to recognize.
This is Dave. Dave sent this one in.
Or Dave, I'm sorry. Yeah. Dave, what you have to recognize is pay really close attention to that story that you are telling yourself about yourself. In our program, we call that your core story. It's the single most important thing you'll ever learn. So Dave, what you need to do is you need to pay attention when you're telling yourself a story that's limiting you in some way. And you have to consciously in the moment recognize that that's never going to serve you. Because Dave, you could take action and you can do everything that you've been taught, but if you've got that story behind it all, you're going to always struggle to create the results that you want. So before you start taking the action, pay attention to what's going on in your mind and determine. So Dave, here's a great way to think of this. How do you want to feel about building this new company? Identify how you want to feel. So maybe you tell me, you say, Bob, I want to feel confident in myself. I want to be inspired, and I want to be excited to go out and talk to people. And I say, great, that's a good start. Here's the next step. What's the story that you need to tell yourself about yourself to make you feel those things? See, inside of our program, Legacy Leadership Academy, this thing we teach called the formula, we literally have a 5-step practice and a worksheet that we give you so that every single limiting belief and red light story you have, we walk you through a 5-step process to turn that into a positive belief that gives you the feelings you need to go out and do it. But pay attention to that and just choose a different story and focus on that every single day.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I just got a text message from CJ. CJ and I did a 3-way call, and just at the beginning of this week, it was no, I'm sorry, it was Saturday, and with him and his wife, and he was, he was looking to get him and his wife together in the business. So he was tuned in earlier. I saw him watching on here, and he said, "Okay, the wife's ready to go, sir. It's going to be a growing process for her, but she liked this, and we're ready to run."
All right. I love it.
Yeah. Isn't that good stuff? So listen, you just touched the tip of the iceberg. If anybody's got a question real quick, we will do that. Otherwise, we'll let Bob go. But I tell you, again, if you're Bob, have you heard? I heard that Clubhouse was going to open up to Android soon. Have you heard a date on that?
I've heard people whispering that, but I haven't heard like a solid date yet. So
right.
I'm not really sure. What we're gonna probably start doing, Alan. I'm just trying to figure out the logistics of it. I'm gonna start broadcasting it on Instagram.
Yeah.
So just if you can't get on Clubhouse yet, and you're not ready for LLA, just make sure you connect with me on Instagram, because that's where I'm literally not even creating content on Facebook anymore. I'm just on Instagram and Clubhouse right now.
Right.
So connect with me on Instagram, and you'll stay up to date to a lot of the stuff that we do.
Yeah. And let me say this before we go, that if you tune into Bob on Clubhouse, his show runs anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. I've seen it run an hour and 45 minutes when he doesn't have daddy duty. But if you have a question on the Clubhouse, I highly recommend that you raise your hand quickly as you go through, and because it fills up pretty quickly. And it's just an extremely popular Clubhouse, and it's extremely popular program, and just the amount of growth and success. Clubhouse has been around now for 2 months? Is that right?
Yeah, probably about that.
Yeah. And when we were talking about that, and the people that have been able to now plug into what you're doing with the Legacy Leadership Academy, and with the Love, Serve, Grow, and with the Virtual Upline, and the Clubhouse, the people that have been able to hear the same message, folks, that Bob brought you tonight, and then expanding on that, just the testimonies that you've been able to share of the people that have had amazing success has been truly impressive. Truly impressive. Yeah. I know that's got to feel good with you guys.
Yeah, it does. And I think what it really is it's just a testament to what happens when you finally understand how to build belief. Because a lot of people, they you have to understand that the breakthrough and the transformation you're looking for is a heck of a lot closer than you think it is. It's really just a shift in focus and a different conversation. And so I just get really excited about, I'll be honest with you, Alan, my favorite students are the ones that do come to us that have been stuck for years in their business, working hard, and no matter what they do, nothing seems to make a difference. That we give them this thing that we call the formula, and we teach them how to believe in themselves again, and we see how quickly that changes their life. It's just a really cool thing to see.
Sure. I'm sure there's some people on here on my team right now that are saying, "I wondered where you were getting that information, and now I know." Yeah. And so, the one thing that if you got just another minute, I want to finish with, and I want to ask you a question, or maybe not a question, but just have you elaborate on something, because a lot of people, we've got a large team, we've got people from all over the world, and there's a lot of training out there, Bob, of people who. Hey, you got to do this on Facebook, and you got to put these posts out there, and you got to do this, and you got to spend more time here, and you got to do this. And what I see is, and listen, I'm raising my hand because there's been a lot of that. What we've done that we've been teaching that same thing, but then what we find out is it's easy to say, hey, go put content on Facebook and on Instagram and share stuff. Go do a live video. Let's do a 14-day live video challenge. And it doesn't matter what you talk about, just talk about something. And so a lot of training is about do. But see, as I'm in working with you, what I've learned is there's a before the do that's so important, because a lot of people go, yeah, I would like to do the do, but I can't push that button. I can't bring myself to, and the questions that you hear a lot, I hear that you hear a lot is, well, I don't know what to write about. Well, I don't know what to talk about. Well, I don't know how to do it. Well, I'm afraid. So if you would touch base on because everybody here wants to build a successful business, but they're stuck in some certain way because they feel uncomfortable. A lot of times it's that they see somebody, they see you come on. Here's a guy who's very eloquent, very well spoken, very does this. Well, yeah, that's great. I can't do that. Or they see the women who dress up pretty and do all the fancy, funny stuff and the dancing, and they go, I can't do that. And so they get frozen. And I have talked about you got to be you. But before you got to be you got to feel good about what you're sharing. If you would just touch base on that, and then we'll let you go.
Yeah, I think I'll say a couple of things. I think number one, first and foremost, I love social media. I mean, I think what's interesting is I believe it is the best and the worst thing that's ever happened to this profession. I believe it's the best thing if you know how to use it the right way in the right perspective. Social media is not a business. Let's just be really clear on that. Social media is not a business. There's a lot of people that don't understand that. They're all in, all their cards are on the attraction marketing and social media table. And, they think that if they just get good enough at creating content and doing attraction marketing, that they'll build a business. And you won't build a business, because those are sales strategies, by the way. Showing up on social media every day and having to create content in order to recruit people that quit last month and replace the ones that aren't buying anymore, that ain't a business. That's a job. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't use social media, but I'm saying you need to take a look at how much time you're actually spending on social media. Now, if we understand what social media is, it's a marketing tool to generate leads for your business. But if we think of a successful business as a puzzle, it's literally just one piece of a puzzle. So we just have to pay close attention. Now, people say, well, what do I need to focus on, Bob? Well, the Love, Serve, Grow framework teaches you the three things you'll only ever need to focus on: belief, systems, and leadership development. Marketing and social media is one of the 5 systems you need in your business. Okay. So we just have to really be okay with that. Here's the other thing I'll say. Why do most people turn to social media? Because they're afraid. They turn to social media out of scarcity and fear, and quite frankly, weakness, because they're afraid to actually put themselves out there and talk to people that they know. They hide behind their computer and they use the post and pray method of building their business, hoping that somebody someday will just eventually come into their inbox and say, hey, can you sign me up? Here's my credit card. And I think we've all figured out that's not really the way that it works. So what we have to learn how to do is we have to learn how to use social media in a way that it doesn't monopolize all of our time and become a full-time job, but realize that's just the front end. The real work happens is, what are you doing after you post? Right? Like, business is an active thing. Marketing is passive. Prospecting is active. So we got to be doing that hard work. But we also have to understand that social media is not a silver bullet. People think that, the problem is, well, maybe I'm on the wrong platform. Maybe I'm just doing it the wrong way. Look, your actions don't matter. You can show up on social media every day, post 30 times a day, do everything that every social media expert is teaching you. But if behind every one of those videos and actions, you have a conversation that maybe I'm not good enough, I'm telling you, you're never going to get the results that you want. Because when you don't believe in yourself, people sense it. You will not say the same things. You will not do the same things. You will not show up in the world the same way that you could if you had that belief. So that's the reason why we have to start there. And let's not get caught up in this trap that sometimes social media leads us to.
So spot on. So spot on. And hey, the quote of the day, I'm all about some quotes of the day. I'd never heard that before. The post and pray method.
Yeah, I can't take credit for that. That came from one of the girls in our program. But isn't it such a good description of what people do, right? So
every day. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Bob, listen, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you coming on and how much we appreciate you sharing your wisdom on here. And folks, listen, there's plenty of ways to reach out to Bob. I wanted to say this, that the Legacy Leadership Academy Clubhouse, the reason that he's saying that that's a special link is because his business, he has so many people that join his business. If you can see here, currently, if you just go to Legacy Leadership Academy, it says the academy has closed. And so he's not accepting new people there in that program. But this is a special link for us to be able to join his program because he's got a few connections over there with the program.
I know some people.
He knows a couple of people over there. So Bob, thank you so much for your time, your wisdom and knowledge and sharing. And we really appreciate what you do and look forward to hearing from you again.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, brother. And hey, thanks for your time, everybody. I hope to see some of you inside of LLA. Take care.
Absolutely.